turn this on. Hey everybody, Stuff I Heard podcast. Here we go. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Stuff I Heard podcast. Today happens to be Wednesday, the 13th of November, 2019. It's a beautiful, chilly day outside, which is why I'm wearing my Bert Kreischer I Am the Machine hoodie. Because it's cold in the house, but also I was just outside. You guys have listened to me rant and talk over the past, I don't know how many months, about building furniture out of cedar wood and stuff like that. Well, I just sold my first piece. Actually, two pieces. I sold two chairs. Quade, guy I work with, Quade Richardson, bought two chairs from me. So thank you, Quade. Appreciate the support. It helps go towards everything that you listen to and see here, and also towards the purchase of more wood and more future projects. So thank you. Thank you. I am totally surprised and totally amazed that I've learned to do any of this, and I feel like I'm doing a magic trick every time I do it. Like every time that something is created out of nothing, I go, oh, who did that? Did I do that? I mean, I know I did it because, I spent the hours doing it, but it's still just like fascinating to me. So anyway, I'm just amazed. Let's talk about stuff I heard, okay? Not just stuff I heard, but stuff I've seen. The big thing right now is The Mandalorian. Holy crap, The Mandalorian, Star Wars, the big deal, okay? You may be asking yourself, what is a Mandalorian? Because I'm sure that if you have a nerd husband or friend or father or brother or whatever, acquaintance that's talked about The Mandalorian, you're going, what is The Mandalorian? Listen, there is a website that will help you. It's called Wookiepedia. W-O-O-K-I-E, two E's. Wookie, W-O-O-K-I-E-E, pedia, P-E-D-I-A, one word. Literally, there's a thing on there, just like Wikipedia, where you can look up fan lore or fan history or whatever you want to call it, of Star Wars characters. And just type in Mandalorian, M-A-N-D-A-L-O-R-I-A-N, okay? The Mandalorian has a very rich history. There is a lot of stuff to read on here. I started reading it, and about 10 minutes in, I realized I was only at the top of the page. Like there was pages and pages and pages of stuff to read. I was like, holy crap, look at the history of this. This is amazing. Now, for me personally, this is my personal history. I like Boba Fett. See, I got a little pop head thing. Thank you, Alex and Michelle, for my Boba Fett bobblehead pop thingy. And I got an antenna topper with Boba Fett on it. See, it's so cute. And I got t-shirts with Boba Fett on it. I like Boba Fett. Listen, I am a Star Wars kid. I was born in 74. The original movies came out, I think, in 77 or 78. But I remember being a small kid and being kind of shuffled into the back of a station wagon at the drive-in theater to see Star Wars as a kid. And I remember Star Wars. Okay, it was just called Star Wars. There was no A New Hope. I mean, that kind of crap came later. It was just Star Wars, like Star Wars. Then you go to the movie theater and somebody said, did you see Star Wars? You go, yeah. Because you only got like so many new movies every year, and there were only so many movies that were even worth watching or spending money to watch. And this was the movie to watch. Star Wars was the movie. And it still is. Listen, if Star Wars comes out, it's the movie that I will still go to the theater and spend money to watch. Probably more than once. They do it big. They do all of the fantasy stuff big. They created a world, or worlds, I guess you'd say, where you're immersed. You're in it. You're involved. And Disney Plus just came out. I've talked about this before. We signed up for Disney Plus ahead of time because of the fact that we have a credit card that's Disney points, and you don't have to have that to do this. I think right now Verizon is even offering a deal where if you sign up for their unlimited data plan, that they're giving you a year free of Disney Plus, which is cool. I mean, hey, it's kind of a neat little feature. Then you can watch it on your phone while you're at work, or maybe in the bathroom, or I don't know, it's kind of weird. Who wants to be in the bathroom watching it? Anyway, back to my point. The Mandalorian is the show, the reason I wanted to sign up for it. Now my wife wanted to sign up for it because of all of the Disney classics. You get every movie that they have. You get all of the TV shows. You get, I mean, let's face it, there's everything. Everything that they own, everything that is in Marvel, everything that is in Pixar, National Geographic. I didn't realize they own National Geographic, but there's a whole National Geographic category on the interface. The interface is very easy to use on a Fire Stick. Listen, I was even curious, how is this going to work? I mean, I know we paid for this. They had a special deal where if you were a credit card holder with Disney points, they offered you a promotional deal ahead of time. Hey, if you go ahead and sign up for 3 years ahead of time, 3 years, I'm like, geez, that's a commitment. But they're like, hey, if you sign up for 3 years ahead of time, you basically get it for $4 a month. And I was like, hey, $4 a month, pretty doggone good. Because I know I'm going to watch The Mandalorian because Jon Favreau's involved and he's a fan and he makes Iron Man and he's a good director. I mean, Jesus, this is going to be great. And I'm not wrong. They're not putting it out like a Netflix show where they just have all the episodes and you can binge watch all of them, which I'm sad and happy about. I'm sad because I want to watch more. I know I sound like a child right now. I want to watch more. I want it now. But I'm glad in the fact that if they had them all there, I'd have watched them all by now. And then I'd be bummed waiting another year for them to come with more. So in a way, I'm kind of happy they're making me wait every week to watch the next one. Oh, God. I'm a junkie. Listen, we're all junkies for something. Whether it's sweets or alcohol or sex or, sleep or whatever, working out. We're all junkies for something. I'm a junkie for this kind of stuff. Anything really creative that's fun to watch, I'm into. Anything that's fun to listen to, I'm into. I mean, I'm a fan of creativity. I'm a fan of Star Wars. I'm a fan of the Mandalorians. But listen, let me just tell you a little rundown quickly of what I've got from The Mandalorian. I'm not going to give anything away, okay? I'm not going to tell you what the first episode is about. I'm not going to tell you what you learn or what I'm going to watch the episode again today. I watched it last night and I'm going to watch it again today because it was that good. Because I'm a geek. I'm totally into it. Like I said, Jon Favreau is involved. He's the director, writer, creator, all of that stuff. This is his project. And I looked on this wookiepedia to get some information, and on there it describes Mandalorians, originally was cast as super commandos and bounty hunters. They were known for their armor class being incredible and their fighting styles to be ferocious, and for the most part they were sort of playing the middle ground of just earning money, fighting for both sides, fighting for the Alliance and for the Rebels. And then the Jedi emerged. And when the Jedi emerged, they had these superhuman powers, this force. And they didn't quite know how to feel about that, but they found themselves at times being hired by the Empire to take out the Jedi. And of course they had to learn how to overcome it using tools and technology. And they became very efficient at killing Jedis, or capturing Jedis, or defeating Jedis, however you want to say it. They were killing them. Just say that. So, of course, this is not real. Like, I get this. I get the fact that this isn't real. This is a story. In a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago. Yeah, okay, I get it. But let's just buy into the story here, okay? So, we know what we know from the movies that are out, okay? Jango Fett was out there. He was this bad dude that, got together with the clone people, and they made a clone army based upon him, and they were supposed to be really awesome and good at what they do, but they weren't quite as good as him. They were, let's face it, a little off. Their aim was off, which is comically the story of the Stormtrooper, that they can't quite shoot straight. But he had like an unedited clone version of him, which became Boba Fett. Boba Fett was his kid, but Boba Fett was also, in a way, him. And Boba Fett was what we're introduced to when we started watching Star Wars in the 70s and the 80s. And Boba Fett captured Han Solo with the help of Darth Vader. But he captured Han Solo, okay? And you see him in Return of the Jedi. He gets thrown into the giant worm pit and the thing supposedly eats him. Okay, that was kind of the story up to that point. And then as a casual fan who enjoyed the movies, I was just like, well, I guess Boba Fett's gone now, which most of us thought that. But then they came out with these books. People started writing these graphic novels and stories about the Mandalorians and about Boba Fett and about his epic tales of why he was such a badass. And they became, there was a story about the fact that he lived inside of this thing for a long time and he eventually fought his way out and that he's still alive and he's still kicking butt. And I think he's going to reemerge in movies at some point. This is my theory. This is my hope. But this show that's on Star Wars, the Disney Plus thing, this has nothing to do with Boba Fett. This is just the people, the bounty hunters, the people who are raised to be these bounty hunter warrior people. We're following the story of this one guy, and I don't think we know his name yet. I don't think that it's been said. They just call him the Mandalorian. Oh, like, he gets recognized right away, and I guess it's because of the fact that he always wears his helmet, and he's super armored, and he comes after you, and he's gonna get you if he's coming after you. I mean, it's just what's done. So we're introduced to him in the show. We're introduced to him being this kick-butt bounty hunter guy, and right away you're into the show and you're into his abilities and you're into everything. I'm so excited. Like, I mean, if you could like get a sense of this would be like, I feel the same excitement right now as I felt the first time I watched Star Wars. I am so excited about this Mandalorian thing. But listen, take it from me, go on this Wookiepedia thing and look up the history of the Mandalorian. Look up, questions about the Mandalorian. You're going to be surprised by the folklore and by the history of it, and you're going to be into it. If you get the Disney thing, the Disney Plus thing, the Disney Plus app looks great. The interface is smooth. Everything seems to be working fine. I heard that the first day they had all kinds of problems. And listen, I was concerned about it. Like, we had paid for it ahead of time, and I kept asking my wife, I was like, so how are we going to watch this? And she was like, what? I said, is there going to be an app, or is there going to be like something going, hey, by the way, you paid for this, click here to watch it? And I was like, how's this going to work? I really didn't know. I mean, this is the first time that I've seen something like this just pop up, with a scheduled time and and we're releasing this. And, I think the first day they very much exceeded what they expected and the system crashed. There were people online, on Twitter and such, talking about, I tried to get it to work and it's not working. And it's like, okay, come on, Disney, you really got to step up your game here. I mean, you want to be part of this. This is what you get when you put out the buzz and you get people interested. Be prepared. Handle your success. To me, that's one of the things that Disney still struggles with, handling their own success. When I go to Disney, like, things like the internet speed is sometimes scary in how slow it is. And I'm like, okay, you have millions of people on location. Let's step up the server speed here. Let's buy some better equipment. Let's get a better IT person involved. Let's allow people to stream and take pictures and go on Instagram and talk about what a cool vacation they're having. Let's do this kind of stuff. Get it going. And they are. They're making advancements every time. Every time I go, I'm amazed at how much things are getting better. If you got a trip planned to Disney, the Rise of the Resistance is the new ride. It's supposed to be opening in December, early December. My wife listens to all these podcasts, and they keep saying they're being told like the first week in December it's supposed to be available. I forgot to turn my ringer off. Sorry. Someone from Harleyville, South Carolina. I didn't even know that was a city. Prank caller. They can leave a message. But anyway, the Rise of the Resistance is supposed to be the big ride that they've been working on. The ride that's been causing them so much trouble up to now. The ride that they thought was going to cost them a certain amount of money, and now they've had to put in 20 times what they thought it was going to cost, and twice the amount of time it is taken to build it. It's given them trouble in Disney World and in Disneyland. But it's supposed to be the coolest ride anywhere. It's supposed to be an experience, not just a ride, but an experience. And I'm looking forward to it. And we have a vacation booked for next year. Next year is the 50th anniversary of Disney. Disney World, excuse me. And they're supposed to have everything up and running and all the bugs worked out by then. You figure you give them a year, right? All the bugs should be worked out. By then the buzz should, calm down a little bit, and then we can go and we can experience it and enjoy it without having to fight so much of a crowd. Hopefully. That's the hope. So anyway, check it out. A lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff. There are celebrities, if you watch The Mandalorian, that are going to pop up on the screen that you're going to be like, holy cow, that's Werner Herzog, and there's Nick Nolte, and holy crap, there's these Carl Weathers is in it. You're like, oh shit, Carl Weathers. I mean, you got to imagine if you have an opportunity, someone calls you on the phone, if you're an actor or something, and somebody calls your phone and says, hey, we're thinking about having you cast as such and such on this new Star Wars thing. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, put me in it. Why not? Why not? Right? All right. Let's talk about some podcasts that I listen to, okay? Because this is stuff I heard. Whitney Cummings has a podcast out. She's been on a lot of people's podcasts, and she's a good guest whenever people have podcasts. I've listened to her a ton of times on Joe Rogan and on Bert Kreischer's podcast. She is a fascinating woman in the fact that she is a great stand-up comedian. She is an entrepreneur. She is a showrunner. She knows how to create shows. She's created multiple shows. She knows the business, and she knows how to get people motivated, how to put it together. Her mind works on a different level than most people's that are involved in Hollywood. But not only that, but she has the ability to make her own stuff. She has a movie on Netflix called The Female Brain. It's a good movie. She casts a lot of people that you wouldn't expect to act in it. Blake Griffin's in it, the basketball guy. Remember the guy that dunked over the Kia? He's in it. She cast him as an actor, and he's actually a pretty decent actor. He plays an interesting role. But her whole story, she wrote it with another comedian. They worked together on it as actors, and it's a good story. But here she is. She has her own podcast, and it's called Good For You. And she's like, I don't want to make it like Valley Girlish, snobby. Good for you, kind of thing. I want it to be good for you, positive. Let's promote the positive. Let's work on this. And I'm all about that. I'm all about promoting the positive. And there's all kinds of ways you can do that. You can go on your social media, and you can, instead of talking crap about this political party or that political party, you can start saying, hey, listen, here's something I didn't know before yesterday, and I did some research, and I watched this thing, or I tuned into this podcast, and I learned about this. And you can help promote the positive, which is what she's doing. And I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of her Valley Girl speak. She has this way, I don't know, this may not make any sense to anybody living in the South or up north. There's a way she speaks that is very Valley Girl, California-ish, where everything goes up in volume as she speaks. Every sentence starts off at this level, like at a 3 or a 4, but then at the end of the question it goes up like this, and then it goes up like this. So, anyway, her first interview, her first real episode is with Dan Levy. One of those, Levy. There's two Levy. There's a Levy and a Levy. This is the guy that's Eugene Levy's son, Dan Levy. Yeah, they have a show called Schitt's Creek, not Up Schitt's Creek, but it's Schitt's Creek, Schittz Creek. I think him and his family created it and are acting in it, and they basically, it's a funny show. My sister got me to watch it. Shout out to Brandy. She got me to watch it because she's like, this show is so stupid and silly, but I can't stop watching it because it's hilarious. And she's right. They're doing it on a very low budget. Basically, they play a family who had money and wealth and affluence, and they lost it all. And the only thing they have left is her dad bought a town. I didn't know you could buy towns, but apparently that's the way the story goes. He bought a town as a joke because it was called Schitt's Creek, and he thought it'd be funny to own a town called Schitt's Creek. So they own the town. And because they have nothing left, they move to this town. And they have to live in a motel that's run down, and everything is falling apart. They don't know what to do with their lives. And it's... In this interview, he talks about it. He talks about the fact that they're supposed to realize that money doesn't equal happiness. And that at the end of the day, it's their family and their bonding that matters. Their time together that matters. Their love for each other that matters. That all the stuff they used to think mattered, that separated them, is pointless. And I've watched, I think, 3 seasons worth. If I remember correctly. There's a new season I haven't seen. I may have watched 2 seasons, 3 seasons. I don't know. I have to look at it. And it's, you know, it's not family friendly. And at times it's not easy to watch because he tends to find humor in the uncomfortable. And there's a lot of uncomfortable in it. The lady who plays his mom, I don't know her name, she's from Beetlejuice. She played the mom in Beetlejuice. She is so ridiculous as an actress, playing in her role in this. She's like a retired actress or an older actress who's kind of phased out of Hollywood because they don't want to cast her because she's ridiculous. And she plays ridiculous over the top in every scene to the point that it's like uncomfortable to watch, but also kind of humorous. And some people love that stuff. Some people just eat that up. I watch uncomfortable scenes and I feel uncomfortable and I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't have the same kind of humor in that. I get that that's some people's style. Some people love that. The more uncomfortable they are, the funnier it is to them. I don't get that. It's just not me. But anyway, her interview, her podcast with Dan Levy. They're friends. They're friendly. They have a good conversation. I didn't listen to the first one to get on Dan Levy's side. I listened to this because I'm a fan of Whitney and I want to support Whitney. And I know that she's going to do a good job regardless because she can't not do a good job. It's like in her wheelhouse. She's going to make it. Like, if you ever watch Armageddon, Bruce Willis is supposed to, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Armageddon by now, Bruce Willis is left on the asteroid because he's supposed to blow it up, you know, and they say, you know, how do you know he's going to do it? And Ben Affleck's like, because he can't fail. He won't fail. Whitney is not going to fail. She's going to put everything into this. Her second interview, which I haven't heard yet, is with Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl was the drummer for Nirvana and is the lead singer for Foo Fighters. I am looking forward to this podcast, probably more than anything. I'm going to listen to it right after I finish talking to you guys. That's how much I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big Nirvana fan. I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. I'm a big fan of the fact that this guy was part of the biggest group of the 90s as a drummer and then became a lead singer and guitarist for the Foo Fighters. He created the Foo Fighters. I mean, holy crap. Really? And in a lot of ways, like, he is the reason that rock music is still even relevant. Because music has changed so much to this electronic produced, gotta have a hook, you gotta put in some rap music, you gotta have a mumble rapper in here, you gotta use some electronica here, and he's just out there banging on a guitar and hitting drums hard and getting his band into it, and they're jamming, they're just jamming hard, and I dig that. I dig the energy, I dig the commitment. I mean, there's a story of him in concert where he is thrashing around on stage and playing music, and he falls off the stage and breaks his leg, and so they bring him back up on stage in a wheelchair, and he finishes the show in the wheelchair. And after that, he didn't want to cancel any dates, and Game of Thrones was super popular on TV, so he had a Game of Thrones throne built out of guitars, and he would come up on stage and he would play the entire show sitting in that throne with his broke leg. That's cool. That's rock and roll, man. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to this podcast, so I'm going to check it out. It's episode 2. It just came out today. It's over 2 hours, right at 2 hours. I wrote down here 2 hours, so it must be something. I listened to Joe Rogan, episode 1377, with Rick Baker. Rick Baker is a makeup artist and a special effects guy. He apparently is the guy who came up with the werewolf changing scene in The American Werewolf in London. He has won 7 Academy Awards. He was nominated for 11. He's worked on everything that you've seen with any kind of monster in it. I mean, Men in Black, the Thriller video, Harry and the Hendersons, he talks about his experience in all of these and coming up with these cool things to do, and how he, you know, as a kid was just fascinated by special effects and makeup, and the guy's 69 now, and he's, you know, he's retired, and he's got incredible stories. He's been a part of Hollywood for so long. And Joe's a big fan. Joe says that, you know, he's like, listen, I watched those movies and I wanted to be a special effects guy because of you, because of the things that you created, and I'm just fascinated. This is a good podcast. Again, Joe is always a fan of people that he has in there. He doesn't do a podcast with people he's not a fan of. So right away you get his excitement, you get his enthusiasm, and you know, because of that, it gets you excited about these people. And this is no exception. This is one of the guys that Joe's wanted to get for a long time. And Rick was kind enough to do the podcast, and he didn't let anybody down. He was on top of things. He had great stories. He was a fun hang. This is a good podcast. Check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's talk about stuff I've seen, okay? Because not only do I listen to things, I also watch things. Sometimes I get obsessed with things, and not good things. I mean, let's just be honest. There's a show on Netflix called Riverdale. Now, Riverdale was done by the CW. Riverdale was supposed to be the Archie and Jughead, Veronica and Betty from the comics, okay? But it was an edgier theme, more of a PG-13 version. These kids are in high school, but they're having sex, and they're doing drugs, and they're drinking, and they're partying, and there's murders, and there's mystery, and there's serial killers, and, you know, at any given time, I'm looking at my wife going, why aren't the cops involved in any of this? Like, they're just like, well, I guess the high school kids will figure it out, you know. I joke with my wife all the time that I'm only watching the show because of Veronica, whoever the girl is that plays Veronica on the show is smoking hot, and the girl who plays Cheryl. They're both just jump off the screen smoking hot, which is not a reason to watch a show. I get that, but it is. You got to see him on screen. You're gonna be like, hey, I'm kind of into it. Yeah. Show me more. There's a lot of actors and actresses in this that you're gonna recognize. Luke Perry is in it. He plays the main guy's dad. I forget his name. Whatever. I just said it out loud. Archie's dad. Yeah, he plays Archie's dad. And spoiler alert, he died this past year while they were making the show. They did a memorial thing for him after one of the episodes. Not really going into depth, just a posting of, you know, his name and the dates, which I thought they would have done more stuff on him, just to kind of, I mean, he was part of their family for 3 seasons. And we're not talking like normal Netflix seasons. This is CW season, so it's like 22 episodes per season. This is a commitment. And yes, I've watched all of them. I've watched 3 seasons worth now. Thankfully, I'm watching them on Netflix, so I don't have to watch commercials. So they're only like 40 minutes long per episode. So you figure that with the intro and the outro, you're only watching about 35 minutes per episode. So you can kind of, you know, cycle through them, but still, it's a commitment. And my wife asked me, you know, I was watching them, binge watching season 3 for the last couple of days, and she asked me, is it good? I'm like, no, not really. She's like, why are you watching it? I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of invested now. I want to see what happens. I mean, it was before The Mandalorian. It was before Disney Plus, so it wasn't like I had a lot of things going on. I was like, you know, I got time. I can have this on and kind of see where the story goes. And there's funny little things about the way they phrase things, and, you know, hang on, I gotta set the camera again. Stupid cat. There we go. There's funny little things in the way they change the names of things to kind of, you know, make it Riverdale-ish for the show. Instead of them doing crack, they do this drug called Jingle Jangle or Candy or Fuzz or Pop Fizz. Yeah. At one point, someone steals a Fabergé egg, and they don't call it a Fabergé egg, they call it a Glamourgé egg. Hiram Lodge is this rich jerk who's kind of the bad guy. Spoiler, Veronica's dad. He's like some famous dude that's married to Kelly Ripa in real life. And there's a scene where he says something about going to some town and staying at the 5 Seasons. Well, in reality, it's the 4 seasons, but he calls it the 5 seasons. So there's like little name changes throughout that make it cute in a way, I guess you'd say. I mean, they're making a show where they have replacement words and replacement things, and season 3 is sort of there is mystery. There is them playing a game. It's supposed to be like Dungeons and Dragons, but instead of D&D, they call it G&G, Gargoyles and Ghouls or something like that. I don't know. It's silly. The whole thing is silly. Okay, the whole thing is silly because no matter what, the main characters are going to be around. They're going to be fine. So no matter what crazy scenario you get in, you're just like, all right, well, let's see how they play this out. Oh, look, the guy just happened to not kill you. How about that? How about that? It's PG-13. It's silly. It's fun. Whatever. I'm into it. I'll watch anything, man. If it's halfway decent, I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. That's how I learn what's good and what's bad. I want to promote the positive, right? So Veronica Lodge, whatever your real life name is, open invite to do the podcast anytime. I'll do whatever. Just do the podcast. I'm just saying. Listen, you got to put it out there in the universe if you want it to happen. I don't know what I'd say to her other than I like you on the show because you're very pretty. But anyway. What else? That's it. That's all I got. Man in the High Castle, season 3. Is it 3 or 4? 3. Whatever. The new season is coming out Friday. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you get your free shipping or whatever. They make shows, they make movies, they make comedy specials, they make everything. Man in the High Castle is creepily good. You start off watching it, you think it's about Nazis and this alternate universe where the Nazis ended up winning the war in World War II. But then you learn about interdimensional travel and how these characters are somehow able to move in between the multiverse, and it becomes a totally different show. The characters that you hate in the beginning, you start to feel for. The characters that you root for, you start to root against. It's written well. It's done well. It's very creepy in the fact that you realize Hollywood has way too much Nazi paraphernalia just laying around because there's so much of it in the show. I swear, if you're Jewish and you're watching the show, you're like, I feel really uneasy. I mean, as a white dude, I feel uneasy watching it. I'm like, ooh, this is uncomfortable. But the show's done well. The show never gets off track of leading you to a better story. And the final season is coming up. There's a guy that plays the main character's arch nemesis. His name's John Smith. He's a fascinating actor. He plays a bad guy really well, and he's played a bad guy in multiple things. And when you see him in this, right away you're going to be like, oh yeah, I've seen this guy play bad guy in a lot of stuff. He's good at it. Listen, there's something about this guy that is powerful on the screen and does not disappoint at all. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Supposed to be hanging out with a guy that I knew from high school this weekend. Maybe doing a podcast at his place. Maybe shooting some guns. We'll see what happens with that. Talked to Quade today. Quade came by. I actually sold my first 2 chairs to Quade, and maybe doing a podcast with Quade next week. So looking forward to that. But yeah, just trying to do this a little bit at a time. I spent all day Sunday working on a project with Danny McWilliams. You guys may remember him. He's been on the podcast before. He has his own YouTube page and Instagram page of stuff I kind of care about. And we worked together on a project for Tubbs Seafood here in Florence, South Carolina. We put up videos on YouTube and on Instagram of what we worked on, building some patio, what do you call them, counters? I guess they're like free-floating counters. We built the project together and worked on it, and we were installing them. And in the process, building the stuff here only took a couple of hours. But then when we took it to Tubbs, we spent probably 3 or 4 hours trying to drill into steel beams, and it ruined every drill bit that I own, and we didn't quite get it done. We didn't get them mounted. So that's still got to happen. I got a text from him recently. It said, hey, you know, the guys kind of talked to me and wants us to hold off for another week so that they can get their inspection cleared, because this isn't part of the inspection. Once the inspection is cleared, then we can go ahead and install this, but they kind of asked us to hold off on this for right now, and I was like, all right, cool, that's fine. I wasn't in a big hurry to do it. Still kind of trying to figure out how we're going to install these things, so that's still part of this. But I think I've got an idea. I think I have a solution, and you guys need to stick around and tune in for more so you can see how that happens. So anyway, thank you everybody for listening and for being a part of this, and appreciate all of the love and support. And thank you to Quade for making my first project happen, where I sold something. I didn't know I could make anything worth selling to anybody, but I've gotten offers from people, and so thank you. I will be selling more. So if you're interested in something, let me know. We can talk, and we'll go from there. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Y'all take care, and cue the cow. Moo!